You don't get to be a billionaire without developing a reputation, and Sam Zell, sometimes called the Grave Dancer, has earned his. Born Shmuel Zielanka in 1941 in Chicago, his Polish parents had fled from Europe and arrived in the U.S. just months before he was born, and Zell got an early start in the industry, managing an apartment building in Ann Arbor while he was in college at Michigan. He impressed the building's owner so much that he let him manage more and more and more properties. By the end of law school, Zell and fraternity brother Robert H. Lurie managed more than 4,000 units, and they owned more than 100 of them. That had them making about $150,000 per year, the equivalent of $1.1 million today. Zell put that law degree to work, getting a job at a firm where he lasted exactly 1 week. But it wasn't a total wash. One of the senior partners agreed to invest with him, allowing him to buy a whole apartment building in Toledo, and quickly expand to buildings in Reno as well. By 1968, he founded his first company, the predecessor to Equity Group, but by 1973, he pumped the brakes on buying real estate. Zell could read the writing on the wall about the upcoming real estate crash and started accumulating capital and developing a property management firm that would be able to reinvent distressed assets. When the market did crash in 1974, he was in the perfect position to dance on some graves, gobbling up properties for 50 cents on the dollar. Throughout the 1980s, he diversified these holdings, really becoming a giant within the industry and well known on Wall Street. And then, once again, he saw the writing on the wall and the potential for an even bigger crisis than the one in 74. He formed a distressed real estate fund with Merrill Lynch, and once again, he was right and profited mightily from the savings and loan crisis of the late 80s and early 90s. The equity umbrella grew huge, spawning 3 of the largest public real estate companies in history and a number of other businesses. In 2007, Zell sold one of those, Equity Office Properties Trust, to Blackstone for $39 billion. At the time, it was the largest leveraged buyout in the world. But less than 2 years later, post-housing bubble, many of those properties were underwater. Equity took some hits during the financial crisis too. Zell bought the Tribune Company in January of 2008 in a transaction he's called the deal from hell, and it went bankrupt less than a year later. The recent pandemic didn't provide as much distress as some expected, and Zell's been making more conventional investments. Most recently, that's included industrial properties, and he's gone head-to-head with other investors, including fellow billionaire Barry Sternlicht, over a deal for Monmouth Real Estate. Though that seems to have fallen through, Zell's had a pretty soft landing. Today, he's worth around $5.3 billion. Keep watching TheRealDeal.com for more.